So, who are you?
Who I am?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Biggie Fats. There's no relation to the rapper though.
I'm gonna see if I can amplify your sound. Um, all right. So you like horror?
Well, it's not my favorite, but I think everybody likes a good scare.
Yeah, right. So I remember you talking to me that you like horror more as a written word than the movies.
Well, yeah, there are several really good horror movies for sure, but it's just not my favorite representation of horror.
And why is that? Can you tell me why that is? Is it just a gut feeling you have, or do you got a reason?
Yeah, I can't answer that rationally. It's just a feeling. It makes me feel more scared usually. I don't know. I think that many times my own imagination is way more scary than what's shown on screen.
All right, so you got yeah. All right, so you don't like that. Like, uh, do you have any horror movies that you actually like, or do you just dismiss the whole medium
No,
as
no,
it is?
no, like I said, there are several horror movies that I like. I like, well, the first Alien movie.
Yeah, all right.
I like the first Friday the 13th. That's
Yeah,
really great.
yeah,
I like Event Horizon.
yeah. All right. Yeah, all right. Event Horizon is like a subject for a whole fucking podcast. So yeah,
We can
yeah.
talk about that some other time, but let me just add, I really like Bad Taste and Brain Dead also.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, the classic gore movies.
Yeah, yeah,
So
they're all, and Meet the People too, of course.
yeah,
Just great fun, great fun.
yeah, but like you said, I'm not gonna try to ride you a whole lot on the whole. I don't like horror movies more than written pieces. But of course, I'm gonna do it a little bit since I'm a horror movie fan.
Oh
It's
yeah,
it's
oh
a,
yeah.
it's a little bit hard to get past that. So I'm like, why don't you like what horror movies do? But you like what maybe written pieces do.
Well, I, I, that's a
Like,
really tough question.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it has to do with suspension of disbelief.
All right, yeah. So I'm not trying to put you on the
There,
fence
there,
here.
there are too many horror movies that I like. I'm not buying this. This is bullshit. I don't buy into this. This would not happen. This is not fucking scary. Go fuck yourself.
No, yeah, no. I'm not trying to put you on a fence. It was just
No, no, no.
I was more like, what is it? Because it's like I love horror movies, and I love horror movies for a very specific reason, and
Yeah,
I love horror novels as well. That doesn't like intercross each other. It's just I love both, but I can
yeah.
understand that someone would love the movies better than the literature or the other way around. It's just
Look, I'm all about whatever floats your boat. You like what you like, and I what like. Yeah, I like, and everybody likes what they like.
all right. So let's dive a little bit into that. What do you like? horror novels. What do you like with horror novels? Whom's writing do you like? And do you got any examples of books to read for the chat?
Books to read. You really, yeah. Well, I'm a great fan of the classics, Edgar Allan Poe, Washington Irving, that kind.
H.P.
The
Lovecraft. Just
yeah, I've read some Lovecraft, and I see the appeal, but
oh,
it's still
okay,
not for
okay.
me.
All right, I feel a disconnect already. So we're we're gonna have to talk a little bit about that. But put it in. So you like Edgar Allan Poe? I would. Do you like
Yeah,
Stephen King?
oh, yeah, and of course I like Stephen King, but he wrote a lot of crap. He wrote a lot of mediocre stuff, and he wrote a lot of really, really great stuff.
Yeah, all right. So you see him as a like an author that can go both ways. He can
Oh yeah.
he can be really
He's
good or
he's uneven in quality. When he's bad, he's bad. But when he's good, he's really, really good.
all right. We're gonna have to disagree on that, but that
Sure,
that
sure, sure.
yeah, but that's mostly we're gonna get into that. But other authors you are suggesting, like, do you have
Uh, I like that Swedish guy. I always get his first name wrong, so I'm not gonna say it. But I read the link this.
like let the right one come in?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, wait. I'm gonna look up his name right as
Yeah,
you
I
say.
think I always called him Johan, and it's John or the other way around.
You mean you mean John Ivy the Lindqvist?
Yes, that's the one, John.
John Ivy the Lindqvist. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's written a couple of all right books. I mean, I read Handling the Undead
yeah.
and Let the Right One In. I haven't read more of it, but I would say he's a pretty good author. He
I would really, really recommend the one called Lilla Stjärna. No, that's really, really fucked up shit. Really
yeah
fucked up.
I am going to read that too, but I haven't gotten into it. But yeah, I read Handling the Undead and Let
Yeah,
the Right One In.
yeah,
And yeah, as I see him, he's a really good actor, but he does something I always feel with these authors, and something I always have a problem with, and I know you might not have a problem with it, is that they treat the undead as people. I always feel like when I'm reading stories like that, we always read about monsters, and they always give them uh, uh, like like
You mean that we
attributes.
anthropomorphize them?
What?
We anthropomorphize them.
Yeah, like
We give them living qualities of living that we can relate to, but they're really not living things. Like, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
totally what
yeah,
you said.
yeah. I kind of always feel like they are trying to make them relatable, but they are monsters.
Yeah, yeah.
And
What's the point of a relatable monster? You want to be scared.
yeah, no. I get the point of a relatable monster, but it has to. I feel like usually it has to do in a way like if we got the creature of the Black Lagoon,
Yeah.
Like we got the relatable monster in a way that is that you can relate to why he is a monster. Like
Sure, sure,
yeah,
sure.
but in these tales it's more like you can relate to him not being a monster.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. We have the same.
Like to try to make the monster not a monster, while in other tales, like as I said, Creature of the Black Lagoon, he's still a monster, but you can relate to why he is a monster, like why he does the things he does, and
Yeah, sure, sure. And we also we've got King Kong. That's the same. And one of the most classical monsters, Frankenstein's creation.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure, sure. But in those stories, that's the point of the whole story, making them relatable. But zombies, god damn it, they want to eat you. That's not
Yeah,
cool. I don't
like
want you.
I like the idea that you can make them relatable, but they are still monsters, because
Yeah,
they don't get it better. And the problem I have with John's writing is that you basically just accept that their monsterism, if I should say it, is acceptable because they have other traits, and I think like no, they're still monsters. They're still monsters. They are still feeding of other people. Why are you trying to make them human? Because that is the thing that make monsters scary. Like they are not human. They do not understand human empathy or sympathy. Like
I totally agree with where you're going with this and the handling of them. But would you agree with that he doesn't have the same problem with Let the Right One In? I think he handles vampirism pretty neat there. It's a nice version of it.
yeah, may yeah, I mean yeah. I mean I'm not disagreeing with it. It as a whole because I kind of understand what it's trying to get at. That these things aren't abominations, and these things aren't the worst thing that can happen to the world. But I still kind of think, but these are monsters. Like
Yeah,
what I mean, they feed off humanity in a way that should scare us. And I feel like that sometimes we try to humanize that a little bit too much. And I like John's novels, no doubt about it, because I do. And I read, as I said, two of them. That is not an impressive amount to say live on camera, but either way, I still feel like this. Like you romanticize them in a way that is not like fight. They kill people. Like they kill people that isn't
yeah,
even
sure,
aware.
they do. But I hate. It's a cliche for a reason, but people kill people too.
Yeah, obviously. But I mean, my favorite franchise is Friday the 13th. I know everything about killing people. Like, like, yeah, I know, but it's so weird when they're trying to put them in a human perspective. Like, because they are not. Because whatever they feel is not human. Like yeah, it is human in cause of psychopathy, uh
But
like that.
isn't this little kind of the really really great thing about fiction and make believe? You can make the shit up if you want to.
Yeah, I know, I agree with you. I shouldn't dwell on it. Yet I do, but yet I read Lovecraft. So I mean, I really shouldn't dwell on it. By the
No.
way, do you read Lovecraft?
I try. Like I said, it's really not my favorite. I don't know what it. I like the mythos. I like the legends. I like the settings. I like everything about it. Just not the books.
Yeah, yeah, I can get that because Lovecraft is very hard to read. Not because it's advanced language or anything, just because he's a bad writer.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not entertained when I read him. Sadly, he's kind.
right.
I have the same thing with Tolkien. He made a wonderful shit. I just can't enjoy his writing.
Yeah, all right. So I'm just gonna quote Chad a little bit here. Take Eli, the vampire from Let the Right One In, which is from the Swedish novel Låt den rätte komma in. Is she a monster or a tragic victim of circumstance? I would say she's a monster, because she's a vampire, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve empathy or anything. I'm just saying that she is a feeding monster on humanity. That is the point. I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve the treatment she gets or whatever, that she's being accepted. I'm just saying that us as humanity, like humans, we are not the same as these supernatural monsters, and that is because they feed off us. Like that is my outtake. Like there are good monsters and there are bad monsters, but I feel like she's still a monster because they had to feed of us.
Yeah,
Another
of course she's a monster, but she is also a victim of terrible circumstances because
Yeah, I mean,
parents go home. I mean,
I kind of agree. You know, I'm not part of
because
that.
like what happens before you become a monster, really, it shouldn't. You can't judge someone. You stop being a person and you start being the monster.
Yeah, but you're right because you have this arc that we follow of the character,
Yeah.
and I mean I know that it can evolve, but what I'm trying to say is like they are not humans, they're monsters. Is because I feel like we are in some way romanticizing monsters in a way that might not be fucking credible because like the amount of people wanting like vampire cold dildos after Twilight, like sure I am fine with that. Fucking get that ice cold dick up your hiney. I don't really care, but like if an actual vampire was about that's like you wouldn't invite that because that is a monster, that like that is a freakazoid. And I feel the same about like werewolves and whatever you want to fantasize, it's all right. But when you're thinking of the actual like consequences of making them human, like they are not human. They are fucking monsters and they feed of you. Like stop like acting free food. Like I love them all. It sounds like I'm hating them, but I love them all. I really do love them all. But I feel like can we like stop fucking ice dildos because we like vampires. Fucking hell. Uh,
Uh, People are fucked up.
yeah, yeah, they are. All right. So you read a lot of books. Well, I'm just assuming that. Sorry, that is weird of me. Uh, have you read any Have you read any Stephen King?
Yes, I've read lots of Stephen King.
One of my like like uh, I really like the movie The Shining, but I also love the novel The Shining, which is like, can you like them both? I mean, I always felt like you
Sorry,
can.
you cut out right when you said the title. I'm guessing you said The Shining.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
said The Shining. Can you like both the book and the movie? Like I do.
Well, I like neither.
Oh, whoa! All right, so
Yeah,
here we go.
I know.
Oh shit! Here we go. All right.
I've read it twice and I've seen it three times, I think. But I don't know. I don't know.
What don't you like about it? It's kind of
It's once again that feeling in my stomach. There, I mean, there are some great parts, really, really great parts. But
yeah.
I don't know. There's something just I don't know.
Yeah, it's just something you don't know. The thing I like with The Shining, especially the novel, but also the movie, because Kubrick, while he changed the script entirely, he did keep one key note in The Shining, and that was your underlying like dread, because the thing that Shining is about that is so good is the decline of everyone's mental health. And in the book, you see that a lot more clearly, which I would fault the movie for failing. Because Kubrick, while a great director, didn't really understand details of a story. Like, he had this amazing directory, but he didn't understand details of the story that was really, important. Like, because he saw it just like description. But one thing with The Shining that is really important is the mental decline of the main character, and and I like that because you always feel the movie is presented to you as the main character is always sane, and everyone else is acted like it's they are fringe psychos, but
Yeah.
in actuality it is the main character that is psycho and everyone else is acting fucking reactionally,
Yeah, no,
like.
I think that message is coming out loud and clear in both versions. But yeah, I totally agree. The book does it way, way better. It's so creepy.
Yeah, I mean it does do it good because the book does, as the book goes from the main perspective of the main character, and you maybe don't realize that he is the one that is fucking insane because you think that maybe there is a ghost story here or something like that that makes him feel like this or something like that. But no, no, there's nothing like that. The character is insane. He is insane. He's batshit fucking crazy. And everyone in his view is a victim. So when you start to realize that, you realize why the family act like they do. Like you're like, holy shit, he's insane. And and I mean, I fucking love that. But I mean, I understand that people don't love that kind of change of pace in a way. It's not a perfect novel or a perfect movie or anything. It's like,
You know what the problem is? You actually made me realize why The Shining really doesn't work for me. I called that from the start. I totally got that he is batshit crazy. The any euphemism you can think of, he is it.
all right. It's just, yeah, maybe. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think so because it kind of it kills the mood.
yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know because I mean the novel kind of leaves it open
No,
to.
I think it's totally clear that he is batshit crazy. There is no doubt about it. All work and no play make Homer go something something.
Yeah, yeah, he is, but it leaves the open to whether he was batshit crazy or the hotel, is haunted. But I'm starting to. I usually think that the hotel is haunted, but not by regular ghosts, but by maybe a demon. Uh, that
I
is,
think it may be haunted, but it may not be really that related to Jack.
yeah. I mean, I think so too. Because reading a novel, you have a lot more crazy going on. Like,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
yeah. So the movie only takes on certain steps of craziness. Like, if you only watch the movie, you would get the feel that maybe he's not insane, but then he is insane, and then maybe he is not insane. But if you read the novel, he's clearly insane. The man is going insane. Like,
Spoiler alert, by the way. Sorry. Yeah, for sure. But it usually is like that when you make a movie out of a King novel.
what did you say? Excuse me.
uh, that's usually the case when you make a movie out of a King novel. They leave a lot of shit out perspective, important stuff sometimes.
Yeah, they seem to leave important stuff out, which is a little bit troubling, to say the least, because but we know by fact that Stephen King and Stanley Kubrick had a feud, making
Yeah.
The Shining. It was when the Kubrick called Stephen King 2 a.m. in the morning and asked about the scene, and King told him to fuck off and do whatever the fuck the movie you want. And I mean, I understand both because I understand Kubrick having those ideas and wanting to realize them. And I understand Stephen King like I want to sleep, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah, or maybe I don't know. This was pretty early for King, but maybe he was cocked on his fucking mind and busy doing something else.
yeah, but the earliest King you have, I think we can go back to Carrie. Have you seen Carrie?
Yeah, I've seen Carrie. I've read
The
Carrie too. I've
yeah.
seen New Carrie as well.
Yeah, all right. So the earliest King novel being filmatized was Carrie, and if I remember correctly from Stephen King's book How to Write, it was sold for $1.
That might be true. I would argue on that one.
Stephen King sold the movie rights for $1 because he didn't think the Carrie would be such a success. And Carrie is a great fucking movie. Like that movie is like, I feel like if you're gonna say what should you watch that is Stephen King, I would say Carrie. Like, watch Carrie because that movie is fucking great. Like, it's amazing. Like, and they bought it for $1 and they did it, and Stephen King got the notoriety of it. But that movie alone is great. And you said you've seen the new Carrie. What do you think of that?
Meh, meh.
Might I just say the unpopular opinion that the main girl is too cute?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Like being having read Carrie, I feel like maybe they can't cast a Carrie that is the actual description of Carrie. Like if they did that, it would be weird. But I can say that
Yeah,
Chloe.
you know why it would be weird? Because it would be a pretty flashy modern holiday, not holiday, Hollywood finance remake. In an indie remake, sure.
Yeah, I know because I mean that if you cast Carrie as she is described in the novel Carrie, you wouldn't be going for regular Hollywood beauties.
No, 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 no,
Like
no,
no,
no.
no, no, no. There's no way, and you would have
She
to
could,
ask for an ugly lady,
yeah, yeah.
and
She would have to be real life ugly, Hollywood ugly.
yeah. So I don't know if they could do that. So like I only half fault them with that. Uh,
Yeah, but I totally agree with you. I totally agree. Way too pretty.
Yeah, what I mean is, Sister Spacek that played the first Carrie, she's
Yeah.
still pretty. She,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Sure,
mean,
sure.
she's still
Sure.
pretty, but she got the appearance that isn't typical Hollywood, typical mass media appearance, which makes that movie work because
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
she's
Because
she's
look,
pretty.
let's
Sister
face it.
Spacek is still pretty as fuck, but she's not the multimedia version of beauty, which makes the whole first Carrie movie work. Like the
Uh,
whole scene when they throw soaps at her when she has her first period, like that is only because she is not the most beautiful girl in the school.
Look,
But
we've all been to high school, right? A
yeah,
girl looking like the modern day Carrie would never have been bullied. Never. It,
yeah, exactly.
there's
But
nothing more to it.
yeah, exactly. But the new version of Carrie is that Chloe Martez is so cute that I don't believe that she would be bullied in that way because
No way.
uh and the worst thing is it sounds like you say that Sister Spacek of the first Carrie is ugly, which is not what I'm saying. I'm just
No, no,
saying
no,
that she
no.
doesn't fit the model of Hollywood
She's
beauty.
believable in the role.
Yeah, but she could play it. She could play
Oh
that
yeah, oh
role,
yeah.
and she did it good. And the new version is just, I would say that Chloe plays the role well. I would say that she doesn't look the role,
Oh for sure,
because
for sure.
she plays the role well. She is Carrie. I mean, she plays Carrie flawlessly. But I'm sorry, you are so cute. It's hard to believe that you were bullied because we all know that like Carrie was built on bully subjects in Stephen King's high school, both of which to committed suicide, and that was because the they were ugly and they were offensively Christian, basically. And Stephen King has gone out and say that Carrie is built on those two girls, both whom committed suicides, because he felt like Carrie would be their revenge.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
he didn't. He said he came out and said I didn't do anything when I was at that age, and I can't do anything right now. But maybe Carrie can be some sort of revenge. Because we all know that Carrie ends up in a ball of flame.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so he wrote it for those two victims of his high school, like as a ball of flame, like a revenge for them, not for not for him, not for anyone else, like for them. And I mean, ultimately, it means nothing, but I like that idea. Like
It's a nice sentiment. It's a nice sentiment.
like like he had the conscience. Like I didn't do anything, so he created a thing, and I like that. Um, otherwise, don't you like you do watch a lot of movies, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Do you have a favorite genre, or do you just stroll through it like as
Well,
weirdos?
I like good movies. No, I like movies that entertain me.
All right. So, what's the last movie you watched?
What was the latest movie I watched? Ooh, it could have been Terminator 3.
All right.
It was way better than I remembered it.
I mean, yeah, some movies you have to watch twice. Like, as you said that you didn't, you didn't regard horror movies as high as like horror novels. What is it that you miss from horror movies? Like, they
It's like
gotta
I said,
go.
I don't think it's what it's missing. I think that sometimes it's just too much. I just don't buy into it. And there are like several different types of horror movies that I buy into. So I can't say it's one certain thing or another.
Yeah, right. I can buy
Sure,
that.
sure. It's the same thing with written horror, but you know the mind works in a totally different way than when you watch something. When you, it's just different.
Yeah, no, no, I can absolutely grasp that to a bit. I mean, I consume obscene amounts of horror movies, like obscene amounts. Like people would be fucking scared if I told them how many movies I watch. Um, but yeah, I can understand that in a way. Like I get tired of trends, you know? Like
Oh yeah.
you had Sinister, and then you had
No, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I remember it was in Terminator 3. That was the latest movie. The latest movie, and this was kind of funny. It was a Michael Bay movie, and I didn't like it. I fucking loved it, and I fucking hate Michael Bay. It's called The Island.
The Island.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have seen that one. Uh, I should see it again. I can't say that I remember it a lot, but since it's Michael Bay, yeah, I should see it again because I had the same feeling as you. If someone say Michael Bay, I just disappear. It's like I'm not
The thing
there.
is, I found this movie on a list called movies similar to Black Mirror. Are you familiar with Black Mirror?
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah, it's a kind of cyberpunk horror, 20 minutes into the future kind of thing. And
Yeah,
the island is it's like a really long Black Mirror episode. So if you're into that kind of stuff, it's way, way, way better than other things Michael Bay would ever do.
yeah. I'll believe that. I mean, I usually think when I usually watch horror movies, I try to because I try to review some, on video format on YouTube, and
Yeah,
I usually try to watch them, 2 or 3 times,
yeah, sure, sure.
because I feel like the first time you watch a movie, sometimes you're not getting everything. Maybe you're not seeing details. And the second time you're starting to see details, and the third time you got a verdict. Uh, and like a lot of horror movies coming, there was this horror movie coming out on Netflix now that is called The Open House.
Okay.
Yeah, and I watched that movie 3 times, and I realized that this movie does not have a plot. And it's like there's a lot happening in the movie, but it's all red herrings. Like they throw you a bone, and then nothing happens out of it. And they do that for 1 hour and 20 minutes. And I sat through this fucking movie 3 times because I thought I was stupid and didn't see the storyline. But there is no storyline. It's just fucking stupid. And that is the worst offense I think I ever had to deal with as a video creator. It was watching a movie 3 times and realizing there is absolutely nothing there but production money. It has nothing. It's no, it literally has not. I know you think I'm exaggerating, but it has
No, I
nothing.
believe you. I believe you.
No, it has nothing. It's like things happen, and you start wondering, ooh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. It's nothing like that. It's nothing. Like just ignore every instinct you have. This movie is nothing. It doesn't even have a basic plot or story or anything like that. It's nothing. And I'm like, you know what? If I could get paid to write that, I wouldn't have to work in construction, because
You mean you spent like 4 hours watching a movie without the plot before realizing this? You
yeah,
have to
because
think 3 times.
yeah, but
Dude, I would like, I would halfway through the movie, I would pause and like, Google that shit. What the fuck is up with this?
I mean, yeah, you're smarter than me. That's like that's
No, no,
like
no, I'm not smart. I just know how to use stuff.
no. Actually, the thing that went through me the first time I saw this movie was that I was stupid. Like I was like, I am too stupid to understand this, and I was like, I had to watch it again. And then I watched it again, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm not too stupid to understand. What the fuck? And I was like, "I'm gonna Google this." It was like, and I Googled it, and I saw an explanation. I was like, that's not right. That's fucking bullshit. And then I watched it the third time and I was like, yeah, that's bullshit. Go fuck yourself. And whoever got money for making this fucking piece of shit, give me your money. I want it. It's like, no, it's trash. It's oh god. And I mean, I would benefit from this if I had a search for the worst part of my YouTube, but I don't. So, so I can't benefit from it. I just reviewed it and I was like, fuck it. But otherwise, if I would have a search for the worst part on my YouTube, I could rant about this movie for 50 minutes. Like, really, it's so fucking bad. Oh god, it's so horrible. And fucking Netflix, I'm feeling like Netflix is slipping under quality control. So,
I don't know, man. I think they're pretty. I think they're pretty hit or miss.
come on, but like HBO has, all right, they have Game of Thrones, but that, like, I can
And they
go
have
on
Westworld, and they have
Oz. They have Oz.
yeah, they. Oh, I didn't like Oz. I didn't like Oz.
Why didn't you like Oz? That is awesome.
No, here's the thing. I'm really not into that kind of fantasy.
All right. Yeah, all right. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it's nothing more like that. I understand it's a pretty decent show. I just don't like it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Uh, yeah, no. So Netflix, what I think is the problem here is that Netflix got a fuck ton of money and they spent it on the open house because they didn't really, you know, read the screenwriting. Like, they're like, yeah, that sounds like a good horror movie. Just slap the dollars on it, motherfucker. And they just went with it because that movie is fucking atrocious. Like,
I,
that's
I,
not.
I think you should look into this. There may be something fishy going on.
I will look a little bit into it. I'm trying to look into
Because maybe
Netflix's.
it's like Netflix's money guy's friend who wanted to make a movie and got a shit ton of money and then
Yeah,
understood it. And then like he had a party with a shitload of drugs and good looking people and just filmed them and did it all together.
yeah. I'm trying to look into a little bit on what Netflix spends money on.
Yeah.
Like, so, I think I might be eventually getting there. It's a
Yeah,
long
there's something
track.
fishy going on. There's
It's
something fishy going on there.
yeah, and I think there is a lot of fringe weirdos that doesn't deserve the money that gets it anyway because they might be friends of people on
Oh
Netflix
yeah,
and
oh yeah.
you know and we're talking of millions of dollars. We're not talking about a couple of bucks. And I'm looking a little bit into that. Of course, I will look a little bit further into that.
Do
Uh,
you know how many views this movie has?
I don't know yet. I just know it created a wave of negative, like through YouTube because everyone hates this movie because it's really bad. Like that. This is the only movie that I 100% agree with the negative YouTube batch. Like that is how bad this movie is. It's like I can go to a channel I hate that dislikes this movie and I agree. Like this
But
movie,
whatever they're saying about it, it's true. You
uh,
should believe the anti-hype.
yeah, so I think that I think that with this movie, I think that I realized that I need to dive a little deeper.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like you understand? Like I realized that money is going into, shit. And why is it going into that? Because someone is responsible for that, right?
Yeah, because even the crappy Netflix original content, it's watchable. It's stories and whatever. They maybe not great, but yeah, they pay off and so on. This sounds like it's like a 90 minutes wank
Yeah,
without a happy ending.
but yeah, exactly. What I mean is that Netflix original content is usually pretty good. So like it's alright good at least. Like it's
Yeah, at least sure, sure.
yeah, like
They have Adam Sandler movies, but sure, it's all right, good, sure.
all right, yeah. So I said it's all right, good. Like it's not good, but it's usually acceptable. Like it's
Oh yeah,
usually
oh, absolutely.
acceptable for a movie company to put out these movies. Like it's like I don't like it, fuck it, but it's all right. But this this shit is fucking offensive. Like it's fucking. Do you know which production Ghost House is? Like they.
No.
No, all right. So Ghost House is a movie company that usually produces horror movies, and they have a lot of good movies on their hands, but they also have some fringe ones that is like, all right, they weren't that good, right? But they are a
Yeah.
production company, they take risks and sometimes it's shit. Uh, what is interesting with Netflix is that they are a full blown company, they are full blown fucking profiting, and they still produce shit. That is what is interesting here. Why do you approve shit? Because, like, I
But
thought that maybe these directors or anything were any big names. No, no, they're not. All right, but Netflix still fucking publishes their movie. Do they don't have quality control? Like fucking shit. And
ladies and gentlemen, soon streaming on HBO, the Netflix conspiracy by Cardwood.
yeah, yeah. You know what? It would be good if I pronounced a conspiracy theory, since I have videos debunking other conspiracy theories. It would be kind of good. Like,
But look,
did you know that the globalists are at Netflix? The globalists do
look.
not sit tight.
Just a
They fight
quick.
every step of the way. They will not just harvest our gold, they will also make movies. I don't know. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. I should stop doing that because that is too close to
No,
reality.
I would just like to say that you have to know that all conspiracy theories are mm, tinfoil hatty. Some are there are real conspiracies. Maybe not you lizards from space and whatever, but there are real conspiracies.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but it's an interesting subject.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, just for a question now, and I'm not trying to
Yeah.
put you on the fence.
Oh, yes, you are.
Right, but what conspiracies do you believe in?
Ooh,
Like, all right,
ooh.
all right. I should say that before you answer that I am a prominent conspiracy denier. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I do videos on this, like denying conspiracy theories. So, what conspiracies do you believe in?
I'm not saying I'm believing in conspiracies around these subjects per se. I just something feels fishy about them,
Yeah.
and that's JFK. I think there's something feels fishy about it. It may be just a
You said JFK.
yeah, JFK.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
I'm not saying what it is. It's just my gut feeling.
Yeah, all right. I can buy
And
that.
then
I can buy that one.
yeah, then we have Estonia.
Uh, I can sort of buy that one too.
Yeah,
There's
there's
definitely
something fishy about
no,
that.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. There's definitely questions to ask.
Yes, yes, yes. And then we have the murder of Olof Palme.
Yeah, all right. That.
There,
Yeah,
there, there, there are there are questions that needs to be answered there.
yeah.
And last but not least, I think I forgot this. Oh no, I totally didn't forget it. There are a lot of questions that needs to be answered around 9/11. I'm not saying this or that. There are just questions that needs to get answered.
There. Okay, all right. So I agree with you with the other ones, right? I'm gonna agree with you with Old Palme, and the other
Estonia,
conspiracies,
yeah.
JFK and stuff like that. I'm gonna agree with you on
I
that.
would just like to add, I'm not well read in either of the subjects. So, but I just have a gut feeling, and there are
All
surrounding
right. Yeah. All
9/11.
right.
There are shit.
No. 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 If you have a
So
gut
I'm not.
feeling, I can
Yeah,
understand your confusion because 9/11 is such an like worldly event that is that it is prone to questioning. Like
yeah,
it's so devastating to the Western democracy, really, that it is really a question. But, but, here comes the thing. I'm gonna
yeah,
say that the reason I hesitated when you say that is because there is no conspiracy around it, and it's really easy to explain. And the reason the conspiracy lives on is because people do not accept facts. Um, one thing is like one thing I realized is all right. One thing I realized, if we even think that the U.S. government had anything to do with it, everything I am going to say is still legit. All right,
sure.
you understand?
Yeah,
So everything. So if we just talk about the collapse of the
sure.
World Trade Center, which is the main point of the conspiracy usually. And that is because of steel beams. And here we go. Because this is interesting. I work as an asbestos cleaner, so I remove asbestos,
Yeah,
and I reapply fire safety
yeah.
on steel beams. And I know the steel beams we have in Sweden and that they had there, where like a lot of steel beams from that area from when the World Trade Center was built was covered with asbestos,
Oh
and
yeah.
it was covered in asbestos shot like a glue gun. Like if you imagine the glue gun, but it was glue and asbestos shot up, so
Yeah,
so it was
sure.
like insulation. So it falls off rather easily. Uh, when I clean those kind of beams here, you can grab like a big chunk of it off the beam because
Yeah,
it's not that tightly put together. Like it's just sprayed onto there as fire safety. Um, the problem here is when a plane crashes into your building. it's gonna create a lot of vibrations, right?
The asbestos goes flying all over the fucking place.
Yeah, so the asbestos from the beams falls off, which
Yeah.
create so-called weak spots. These weak spots are not covered up with any fire safety, so whatever whatever degree the steel beams should be covered doesn't cover anymore, because even if there's just centimeters of beam, exposed, that is the
Yeah.
all the thing required. So when the fire breaks out from the jet fuel and 1 centimeter of this beam is exposed and not having any asbestos on it, it will crank. And this centimeter is going to start the decline of the center. And like when you're discussing this with conspiracy theorists, they think that steel beams can hold a whole lot of degrees, but steel beams usually only hold at the maximum of 1000 degrees Celsius. That is when they start to twist.
The thing is, I'm fine with twin towers. No questions to ask there. I totally, yeah, sure, it happened like that. The sources I've looked into that I find credible, and you being one of them right here, right now, they all point to the same thing. But what the fuck happened with those other World Trade Center area buildings? Why did they collapse? Why?
I have an answer to World Trade Center 7, which also
Yeah.
collapsed, which was the building path to World Trade Center. And the problem with that building was that the insulation of that building took fire. And
From the debris.
from the debris, yeah, from the
Yeah.
jet fuel that fell onto it, like the jet fuel debris that fell onto it. So you got the jet fuel took some materials on fire, and that
And they,
material
they
fell
got pieces
into
of
the.
fucking skyscraper falling on top of the roofs. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but no. Excuse me. Before you say anything, you have to see that what the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers, was a lot higher than World Trade Center 7. So
Yeah, sure.
the
Yeah, yeah,
debris, the fiery debris that fell from World Trade Center 2 fell into World Trade Center 7. What
yeah,
happened
yeah.
there, and described by firefighters, was that the insulation of World Trade Center 7 took fire. That would say that the ulterior, but also the interior, like the mid part, like the mid interior part of the building took fire. And like it didn't spread out into the office building that much, but it spread in the mid walls. So when that building was evacuated, it was more like a shell. It was not a building anymore because it lacked a lot of the structural, benefit of being a complete building. So it collapsed
Yeah.
upon itself because it burned from the inside and out. And while conspiracy theories pointed at building as collapsing on its own, it kind of did, but it did it because of help of fuel-based, things falling into it. So
Yeah.
it didn't just, randomly collapse, and it collapsed several hours after the initial hit, but it collapsed because it actually burned out, like the skeleton of it burned out. And
Yeah, sure, sure.
and I know not all people believe that, or believe that kind of theory, but it's like considering how American buildings are built and how World Trade Center 7 was built, that is a likely explanation because they're not built as Swedish buildings. We usually build things way further into concrete rather than steel. Uh, so our buildings, our skyscrapers in Sweden, the few we have, is not primarily of steel, but in USA, most of them are primarily built up with steel, and that is a problem when it comes to heat because steel melts at 900 Celsius degrees. So
Yeah, as I understand it, American construction is vastly inferior to Swedish construction.
yeah, but we also live in a climate that is
Yeah,
kind of
sure, sure,
brutal.
true, true.
So
But
they
look,
build.
we're talking about New York City. They get winters in New York City.
Yeah. So yeah, no, they get winter weather. They don't get the fucking brutalized as we get in the north of Sweden. So we have a standard throughout all of Sweden that is protecting us from all. And American building standards is not anywhere near what we have when it comes to constructing a big and high platform building. They build everything out of steel. It's bullshit. It's bad. And World Trade Center fell because of that, and everything else fell because of that. I mean, I'm not saying that everyone has to believe that. I'm just saying that is the most logical conclusion, and it comes from firefighters in World Trade Center 7 that tried to save it. So it was like they
Totally
could,
plausible. Totally plausible. I have no zero problems with that. And there's just one thing. Why the fuck is an airplane allowed to crash into America's military heart? What the fuck?
yeah, we can discuss that. That is an issue with the American line of defense, and
Just if you boil it down, it's as easy as they have a shitty line of defense.
yeah, but we can also boil it down to that America, USA overall has a really bad history in controlling the border. So, like, not controlling the border from immigrants, but controlling the border from what is actually the border and stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's not so surprising that they would leave these two passenger planes by. I am more surprised by the Pentagon crash.
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
I'm talking about. What the
uh,
fuck?
and that one is surprising, more than like, because that one is uh, it is a failure in a source because it doesn't do so much damage that it thought it would. Um,
No, but it still it went the distance.
yeah, I still went there, but we also have the Pennsylvania down plane, the plane that went down, which would be, considering all things, the greatest evidence to what was going on. Like, I would point to that and say, like, maybe they, did crash it, but was disrupted or whatever, and didn't crash it, as broadly as they could, but rather, sorry, but rather
Yeah, yeah.
forced into a to an apex and then crashed into. Like the Pentagon crash is the most interesting, um, and it was still devastating though, like no doubt, but it wasn't as effective but I think that has a lot of the like a lot of this, descriptionally viable causes that I don't know off my head. Like, but yeah, sure, that one raises a bit of questions. Uh, but the World Trade Center one doesn't
Oh, no,
raise
no,
a
no,
lot of
yeah, yeah,
questions.
yeah, no, sure. No, no, those were the only questions I had about.
Yeah. So like I think like most terrorist attacks, I think they cause a lot of questions because you can't really grasp what the fuck is happening. Because you can't really grasp, because I still remember when I was in school and we stood at the gymnasium just looking at this attack. Like this was an attack on Western society. This was an attack on democracy, and it was an attack on our free way of life. And I can still remember that. I still remember the dread I felt because someone was attacking the things I believed in. And while while I was like 10 years old, I still felt like it had hit Sweden, you know. I still felt like this is an attack that is against us. And not us as a nation, but us as a way of living. And
Of the Western world.
yeah, and I still think it is because it was. It was an attack on our way of living. And we should always think about that. Uh, but I don't agree with conspiracy theorists here because I think they are trying, in a way, to make the claim right. They are somehow not putting the guilty to charge. They're like, nah, he didn't do that. He wasn't cool enough. I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't buy it because I think we got it right, guys. I really do. Anyway, I would say like thank you for this chat.
Yeah, sure. Not a problem.
I'm gonna end it now, but I really appreciate you coming on, talking a little bit.
Sure. It was great fun.
So tomorrow this will be up on YouTube if you're alright with it.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
and well, and until that, I think I think we'll see each other. I will keep you in it because I think maybe we get something more to talk about in the future.
Yeah, sure,
Uh,
sure.
yeah, so I'm really glad you're here.
Yeah, glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so thank you so much. And I will leave everything you know about this guy to follow him on Twitter and all. Do you have a Twitch account? Do you stream?
I do have a Twitter account. It's called Still. It's down in the YouTube description later. The Tar will fix all that.
All right, so we add that in,
Yes,
so
yes.
that people can follow you and everything like that. But thank you for being here.